A movement of young entrepreneurs is coming to a screen near you. Here to tell us more about his upcoming movie, Louis Lautman, the founder of the Young Entrepreneur Society and executive producer for the Yes movie. Louis, welcome to SBTV.com.
Good to be here, Ivy.
Absolutely. Okay, let's start out. Tell me more about the Yes movie. Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, well, what we did, we interviewed about 50 of the nation's most successful young, self-made multimillionaires and entrepreneur experts. I turned 30 last year, and I always thought I was a successful young entrepreneur, and then I started thinking about these kids who were half my age, who were building these extraordinary companies, and I was so fascinated by them, I really just wanted to learn how did they do what they did at such a quick pace. And then I thought to myself, if I'm so inspired by them, I bet more people would want to hear their stories and how they built the businesses that they built. So I went on a journey, seek these people out, and I said, I'm going to make a movie out of this. We documented the entire journey. We captured about 150 hours worth of footage, and we jam-packed it into an entertaining and educational hour-and-a-half inspirational movie.
Yeah, it is like a feature film. This isn't like a documentary. So the format, did you always have that in the back of your mind that you knew that that's what it needed to be in order to appeal to the audience that you were looking to seek out?
Yeah, that's a great point, because this really is an inspirational movie. I started calling it a documentary, but after people have been watching it, they say, this is no documentary, this is a movie. You know, my goal was to take the intellectual content, the awareness of business people that build successful businesses, the strategies that withstand time, but deliver it in a way that today's younger generation would really be entertained by. So we've got flashy scenes, we've got cool music, we've got MTV-style camera work, and we really deliver it in a way that captures the audience's attention all throughout the time, but absolutely leaves them with the impression that I can be, do, and have everything that I want in my life. And really, you should see the results of people. Right when the movie ends, they're like salivating at the mouth and ready to do something, and we hope that what they're doing is about to start their own business.
Speaking of that, in your just 31 years of life, you have been an entrepreneur yourself and have accomplished many great things. But you've always known that you wanted to, you were destined for this movement. And so, what did you pick up throughout the course of making this movie? One of the big things for you? Yeah,
you know, there are so many different things, and it's kind of funny. A lot of people ask me, what was the greatest lesson that you learned? Or, you know, did you have any problems along the way? You know, I always had a very clear outcome of what I wanted to create, and I believe that most entrepreneurs, or successful entrepreneurs, have that clear outcome of how they want life to be, how they want their product or service to look at the end of the day when it's all said and done. And then there's hurdles that come along the way. You know, everybody deals with traffic, everybody deals with inclement weather, everybody deals with the economy going up and down, left and right, personal relationships, business relationships not working out, traffic, I mean, you name it. Everybody deals with these situations, but the people who focus on all the problems and the things that go wrong, they rarely get to that clear outcome that they're trying to create. But it's the people who, regardless of everything else going on in the outside, they stay extraordinarily focused on what they want, that create that which they're looking to create. And that's what we did with this movie. You know, everything in the world, I could tell you all the things that we went through to get to where we are today, but we have an extraordinary product, and I had always envisioned it to look the way that it does, and it's pretty amazing how when I went out on this journey about a year and a half ago, and really it's been a 31-year journey for me. You know, I can tell you 15 years ago I had this vision of making a movie, and I knew it was going to have something to do with business, and over the last several years it was getting clearer and clearer and clearer until I turned 30 when I said, wow, I might not be that young anymore. I want to share the stories of success of people who are doing it at a young age, so I could inspire other people to really take action on their life.
Now you started, the movie is just one component. You're starting a movement of young people to get this entrepreneurial spirit. And it's through the Young Entrepreneur Society. Talk about starting that in the Young Entrepreneur Society.
Yeah, absolutely. So the movie is created by the Young Entrepreneur Society. We are a community of young entrepreneurs. It's a global organization. And we are people who share information and resources, and we network with each other. Anyone can join at youngentrepreneursociety.com. It's a social networking site. We hold events, and we're really empowering and providing the tools for a younger generation to create these extraordinary businesses, and we share the successes of other young people who are doing it. So it's like there's social proof that if they're doing it, I can do it too.
What's the main ingredient you think that these young people who are starting businesses at 14 and 15 have that the rest of us don't have? You mentioned that most of American culture is that we think, okay, we need that safety and security of that. If we work hard, then we'll be fulfilled and we'll reach the end of our life and everything will be fine, working that 40-hour work week for somebody else. But you're starting this movement because right now it's a phenomenon to have a young entrepreneur at 14 or 15 or whatever.
Let alone 25.
Right, exactly. So what's the common ingredient to these people's success?
Yeah, you know, a lot of these people, they didn't have people in their life saying, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. And even the ones that had people who were disempowering them from following their dreams, they didn't listen to everybody on the outside. The only person that they listened to was themselves. They listened to their gut. They felt the enthusiasm that they had for their product or for their service, and they believed in themselves. Regardless of everything else going on the outside, they made a decision and they took massive action. And they didn't give up until they achieved the result that they were looking for. And when they didn't get the result, they just tried something else. And when they didn't get the result, they tried something else. And they weren't looking at failure as failure. They were merely getting feedback for ways that they weren't achieving their dream. And then they were continued doing something else. And then eventually they built these extraordinary businesses, and they're continuing to do that. They beat to their own drummer. They listen to their own internal voice, regardless of what everybody else is saying.
And you mentioned to me off camera that to find your passion, and then that's what you can turn it in and make it work for you. But you can't ignore that thing called, I don't know, income.
Right.
So how do you be successful and still pursue what you love?
Yeah, the Yes movie is all about a young person, and young is young at heart. You know, young could be anybody, whether they're 8 years old, 18, 28, 58, or 88. Young is young in your entrepreneurial journey, young in your outlook on life, your fascination in your business. Farrah Gray in our movie, he's one of our youngest millionaires. He made his first million at the age of 14. He says you want to do three things. What is it that you love to do? Like, what do you love to do? Think about that thing that if you weren't paid for it, that when nobody's looking, you're out there doing it. What are your God-given talents? So regardless of, you know, where you're from, how tall you are, where you are, you have certain aspects of your character that you're better at doing something than anybody else. So look at those two things that you're great at and what you love to do, then ask yourself a question. How can you do those two things and impact the greatest number of people by just doing that thing that you love to do and that you're better than anybody else? Because if you can do that thing and impact a large number of people, you can turn that hobby that you have, that passion that you have for something that you wouldn't even get paid for, into a lifestyle, into a self-perpetuating business that you go to work every day and play. I'm playing right now. Right. We're having a cool conversation here, and this is part of my business model. Getting the word out of empowering young people by doing something that I love. I love meeting new people. I'm in a whole new state, a whole new city, being able to share my message of empowerment for young entrepreneurs. Talk
about how people can see the movie and get involved with the Young Entrepreneur Society.
Yeah, if you want to see the movie, go to www.theyesmovie.com, buy a copy for yourself, but it's not only about just buying a copy for yourself, it's watching the movie and then taking action on the strategies that we teach in the movie. And then you want to share the strategies with other people. You want to go to youngentrepreneursociety.com, and what you want to do is build yourself a position or a place on our membership site. Become active by communicating with other young entrepreneurs. You know, share ideas, get feedback, you know, learn what other young people are doing so you can get the same results.
Thank you very much, Louis Lautman. You heard it here, how to build your business success. Check out theyesmovie.com.